all I need to do to finish this is to make the glazing, is to finish the glazing, get the decals on, and I think it's about time that happened, because this is getting a little bit overdue for a finish. Don't go anywhere, let's make it happen. Roll credits. Previously on the saga of this ongoing build. So here we are. Zoom, 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 zoom. Thank you. We're almost nearly ready to put the two fuselage sides together. And for a kit that has not a lot of interior detail, it's got a lot of interior detail. Let's see here. And I just pressed it onto the tail. I had to do it that way because it's it wouldn't go that way because it's not, is it? Oh, it might actually be, no, it's not. So there, it's a bit raggy because I've moved it a little bit, but that gave me that tail curve. What I did then, I've transferred that curve as best I can onto this piece of masking tape. I'm going to cut that. Hopefully that will enable me to use it as a mask and get a nice neat line on that black tail. Well, not the black tail, the black stripe on the tail. So there we go. I'm going to cut it out off camera and we'll see where we are after that. Alright, short answer, not as good as I hoped. It's giving me a rough guide at best. That needs to be tidied up. So I'll get stuck into that. And let's see if we can make it a little bit more trim, level and straight. So what I am going to do is, obviously in this case, let's get a little bit, I squirted a little bit onto a bottle top there. And there we go, we can just work it in like filler. No need to worry too much about having this stuff go all over, or an excess of stuff, because in a second I'm simply going to take a brush of water, wipe it over, and that is why I replace these guns with metal barrels. This during this build, this kit would have had most of the fuselage guns and the tail guns, they would have gone. Them being these, I'm not going to tempt fate, but they are quite, they've took a beating, put it that way, and they're still there. So yeah, once we get this on, as I say, this stuff will not dissolve, but it will put some water on it, and it will make it a lot more workable and easy to clean. So here we go. Let's just look at that. All that detail is right where I left it. Now the only possible downside to this is it will shrink slightly, so it may need another application after this one, but for the ease of use, it's you know, it's a trade-off you'd be willing to make. Well, I would certainly. I'm not sure how much these tubes cost individually, because I actually get them in boxes of 12, but I would have thought one of these like what, £2-3. If you haven't got a frame gun, you'd have to buy the frame gun as well, but for that investment, one of those tubes will give you a hell of a lot of gap filling. And I imagine that modeller's acrylic putter is a little bit more expensive for a lot less of a tube. Let's just give that a whirl. There we go. I'll just keep tidying it up. And everything washes out in water. And there we have it, a very nicely filled gap, which would be very problematic if you use regular filler. Let's get right in close. Look at all that lovely detail that's still there. So I was about to attempt to put one of the decals on just to see how they go on this Alclad straight on, to see if I would have to possibly give it a gloss coat, and I realised, and you can probably see it, that after working on this kit for quite a while now, I think I started it maybe 6 months ago, maybe longer, you can probably see that that is not on the same side as that on one. You flip the ring round, I put the V on the top ring is there, which is correct, and I've just mirrored it on the bottom ring. So what am I going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that there anyway. I could paint that out, put it there, but in all honesty, when I originally did this, is about the third attempt to get this blue stripe anything like what I wanted it to be. So I'm just going to leave it be. It's the underside, get away with it, you won't see it. Let's put that in there to soak. Hopefully these work, because these are what, 30 plus years old at this point. What I also use is a wee small brush. And put this on. This might not even work, so then the underside will be having problems. Look at that, I don't know if you can see this, but it's curled up. And it's covered in bubbles. And we are in trouble. Boom, piss off with that. After not very long in water, it's absolutely, I don't know, I might be able to save this. Right, well, I think, let's see if this can get a bit of this on. Let's just see if we can do anything with it. It's not completely disintegrating, but it's not fantastic. But when it's on, it's on. Let's yeah, you can see what state that's actually in. Let's see if we can't save this. Yeah, shouldn't have done that, just destroyed it. So we need a set of decals for B-17. Poop. So as far as this build is going, I'm going to have to leave it here till I can sort this out. Poop, and it was going so well. Yeah, it's boned. The only possible remedy is I have got decal film, liquid decal film, which might do a job. I think this wasn't too bad until I put the micro set on it, and it really dissolved it. And 5 months later, here we are. I obviously did get the decals, and the issue with the blue stripes is fine because you actually get them as a decal in this set. So I've sprayed over there to put the decals on, plus the instructions on there are a little bit more comprehensive than the original Airfix ones were. The oddball colours on this build, well, not those, they're anti-glare panels, but parts of it were replaced with parts from olive drab aircraft, which is why you've got these like the rudder and the elevator are different colours. I just thought it was a squadron marking when I first built this kit, but clearly not. Also, I don't know if you can see, this part of the wing was replaced from another aircraft, olive drab again, with you can see on the paint heavily flaking off on the top, and it's the grey on the bottom, which is not heavily flaking off. And the top guns just fell out somewhere. Do not move. Don't want to roll this chair back and hear a crunch, do we? Not at this stage. Right, so now we're up to speed. We can start getting cracked on with something. So the first thing I can't show is you may notice this window has been filled in with something or other and sprayed over. What I did, I filled it with PVA as if I was using Clear Fix, and actually use it as a mask to stop obviously paint blasting through onto the insides. I did want to use it as the glazing at first. When I first applied it, it was fairly clear, but it seemed to go a little bit clouder over the course of a week or so. So I just scotched it off, painted them, just painted it with the idea that hopefully this isn't going to bite me on the bottom, but with it being PVA, now it's done its job and it needs to come out. What I should be able to do is, there we go, cut around, let's go with that, get my wee tweezers even, and out she pops. And this can all be, don't go inside, don't fall inside, don't fall inside, can be replaced with some actual Clear Fix that I bought a new jar especially for this, and there we have it. Fantastic. Right, I've got this, this is nicely soaked. It's come off the backing paper. It is by Cartograph, so it will be absolutely fantastic. Let's see how this goes. Let's put a bit of solution on there. Oh no, there's no escape. You, my friend, are going on this aircraft. Oh yeah. That is very nice indeed. I'll just let my OCD come into play while I get it absolutely straight. And there we have it, a roaring success compared to the last time I tried to put this decal on from the kit versions. So I'll let the solution do its thing for a while, and I'll probably just crack on, get all the decals on this pretty much, because you don't want to watch me do that. There is a lot of them. I've got a lot of small ones as well for on the propellers and that, and where petrol tank caps are and all sorts of fun stuff. So the next time you see this, we will be fully decaled. And doesn't that look nice? These decals, being Cartograph, were of course brilliant. I'm really chuffed with how this nose art's gone on. The kit's not brilliant close up. I've got to say that. Further back, we're okay. We're not bad. Just move this around a bit for you. She is pretty much fully deckled, except I've got to put a little manufacturer's logo on every one of these propeller blades. In fact, these things, lovely. Don't mind the saucy ladies. They are technically fully clothed. There is, on this other decal sheet, there's basically 3 nude ladies, but you don't want to see that, and we don't want to get into trouble. So I'm about to start on those, and I will show you. I've got a little trick to putting those on that I'll show you as well. So we'll get set up for that, and I'll get right on it. So onto these. I don't know if I filmed the sort of the rest of the decals after they were on, but I do believe I did. But that's looking very nice indeed. So I do know that I mentioned these makers signs, manufacturers stencils that go on the propellers. Nah, the trick to these is they all have to be equal, spaced out. So there's a couple of ways we can try that. The first thing is this thing here, a vernier caliper. Oops, right the place. You just measure the distance from the hub, put your transfer there. However, this is a bit of a clunky way to do it. So I'm just moving that back a bit. Let's give ourselves some room. So my method of choice is simply take a piece of masking tape, make sure we know what. Yeah, so that's set. Tape it on the cutting mat. By following that yellow line, I can, in fact, oh, there we go. I'm already making a pig's ear of this. Stick it back down there. Follow the yellow line. Also, I don't want this masking tape to be too sticky at all, so sticking it onto this a couple of times will take some of the stickiness out of it, which is nice. And there we are, got a nice flat edge on one end. I use this to grab some random writing increment. Take it up again, not too bothered about this end because that's just about to be cut off. Get that nice and level. To be fair, this doesn't have to be super perfect because as long as we've got the distance, that's all we're using it for, is to mark out the distance from the hub to where we want this stencil. Get rid of that piece. And then it's easy peasy. All we do that off there. Oops. Drop it on the propeller from the hub. And there we have it. Then I should get this ready to go and just basically sit it on top of that piece of tape. Now, if you don't have a micrometer, a vernier caliper, I believe that thing's called, or tape on a radial engine, what you can possibly try to do is simply, and we need to be facing straight on with this, is line the decal up with maybe the inside of the cowling or the outside of the cowling, and that will get you roughly where you need to be. But I'll, like I say, I'm not quite set up for decaling right now. I'll get that done. We'll pop this on, and maybe I'll do a time lapse. I'll be doing the rest of these. Won't that be fun? Right, the decal has left the backing paper, so we are good to go. Which is making life a bit awkward. Now then, which way up? I'm going to have to use these to see. Oh, bear with me. You've got to get these details right, otherwise someone will pick fault with it. Even though it's pretty much, you cannot see it. Just, okay, there's two yellow parts that look like this should be the bottom. In fact, I'm going to keep this Optivisor on for this, which might make it a bit awkward to film this. Okay. Off you pop and on you go. No, not on the tape. No, that's not why it's there. There we go. Oops, I can't see a lot else. Get this piece of tape off, keep that safe. Right, and a little dab of solution. Just needs a nuts to straighten it up. Right. Just move it in. Where do I close it up? Focus, focus, focus. I don't like that. This camera is always an absolute nightmare to get to focus. Since I move my hand away, let's see if the zoom function does a job. And there we have it. 1 down, 11 left to go. I don't think I'll time-lapse this because the camera really does get in the way, if I'm honest. So I'll just get these on and show you the finished result. Okay, so after all that to get these transfers onto these propeller blades, what didn't we do? That's right, we didn't look at our reference photos because these shouldn't be like that. They should be up and down, if you see what I mean. I've got a couple of pictures of the Sally B. I'll pop in here to show you what I mean. There's the pictures, and they're on, so they're staying on. They're on, they're wrong. Before you tell me in the comments. Oh, we love this game. All right, but anyway, onwards and upwards. We'll stick the windows in with this stuff and carry on regardless. Okay, the first small windows I'm going to put back are potentially the easiest, as in these two. Some fluff there, let's get that out of the way. These two, yeah, and all you do with the clear fix is get something like a cocktail stick. Oh yeah, there you go. Get a dollop on the end of that there. Those two right so. A little bit more. And there we have it. A wee little glazed window. I have to be a little bit careful with this because it can sag before it fully dries, which is going to make this top window I need to do very interesting. I might put a piece of clear plastic in there, then go over it with this stuff, but let's see. It's got a really big lump. Let's see if we can do this big window. And yes, we can. Oh, there's maybe a bit too much there. What I try to do with this is draw it all around the edges, draw it into the middle, and just slowly take the cocktail stick out. So as soon as I'm going to do the next window, and then I'm possibly going to put this on its edge upside down, because I think that window there is beginning to, oops, don't get away, is beginning to slump towards the bottom. I can't for the life of me remember how fast this stuff takes to dry. So I'm going to pull you back. And what I'm going to do, hopefully this will stay there for a while, just hold that there. In fact, hopefully that lid hasn't gone off, because when I've got it this way up, it then enables me to do that top window as if it was a horizontal window. Let's see. Cool. Might tip this upside down, completely upside down for a minute. We're inverted. Turn this around so I can keep an eye on those windows. Because if it is slumping towards the bottom, turning it upside down will then cause it to slump towards the top. And in my mind, it should balance itself out. Yeah, there's you can't see the back window, a couple of bubbles in there, but I'm going to let that be. Let me just do that because that other window seems to have not quite taken. I mean, you can, once this has gone off, apply a bit more. But that's doing a job. The trouble is these kit parts, every time I look at it, especially the cockpit, the kit parts glazing is looking worse and worse every time I look at them. Right, so let's flip this around because this stuff does dry out pretty quick. Oops. And there we have it. I'll leave those to set. Now another thing, you can you probably see that sort of white bloom on that middle window. That will go away. It will fade out. It does appear. It just does that to make you nervous. But when that's nice and dry, it should be 3 nice windows. Plus that top one, hopefully won't sag too much before it dries. And then I can just put some more in, so we have a flush window. And there we have it. So this is it. I'm calling this kit finished. Not a lot more I can do with the original kit glazing. It's not been brilliant to start with, but it is what it is. I might give it another coat of clear, just to see if that does anything, but realistically I'm not going to hold my breath on that. So here we are. It's been a bit of a long road. The decals I've got are absolutely fantastic. They gave me a bit more help with the actual painting and the paint scheme and how that should actually be done compared to the Airfix instructions. And yes, it's okay. It's okay from about 3 feet away. What I will do, I'll maybe make that a separate video, but I have got this same kit I built maybe about 1990, 91. I'll put them side by side and we'll do a comparison. And you know, it will give anyone watching an idea of how me personally I've improved my model building, because you know, you don't just wake up in the morning and start building kits to a nice standard. Semi-professional, I like to say, or enthusiastic amateur. So there we have it. It's been a bit of a long journey, and not only have I been building this, the method of filming I've been using has changed over the course of this build as well. So if you look at video number 1, I think you will see quite a bit of difference, because I was making them videos at that point with my phone and that was it, and different editing software, which wasn't all that, if I'm going to be honest. So we'll just have an overview. The L-clad I used has got a sort of has got a natural kind of variation to it. It's all the same colour painted over, but it's developed a natural variation, which I like. It you know, it's not going to be a uniform machine. I don't know how I managed that. Just by the way I was spraying it, how it went on, that's how it's ended up, and I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. It's a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. Whoops. So there we have it, the 1963 tooling, which I've got in a 1994-95 boxing. This one is, and yes, that's some age. That tooling is older than me, and I'm pretty ancient. I'll leave you with that, and we'll get wrapped up, and I shall see you in the next build, which I accidentally gave you a sneak preview of just then. I just realised. Okay, bye bye. If you enjoyed the videos you've just watched, here's another video you might want to watch, a playlist you might want to watch also, and please don't forget to, if you have enjoyed it, leave me a like and maybe a subscribe. I would much appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.